Hello. It is I, Peerless Drew, here to bring you another exciting installment of my live streams, whereupon I ramble about things for about an hour and then perhaps I interact with some of you. It's hard to say. Of course, nobody's here. I don't know how that works. Hey, Shark. Shark is here. So I thought we'd discuss some things. For the benefit of, let's see, All Hail Transformers, who hails from France. I have assembled what we have so far from the DX9. Is it DX9? Please say it's DX9. DJD. Or what they call Heroes of the DEC. Sorry, Iron Factory. What was I thinking? Madness. This is their version of Tarn. What's this? Kaon. Somebody. And Helix. I'm sure someone who follows the comics or the characters very closely is horrified that I don't know the names. And I am sorry. Yeah, sorry, Casey. I was trying to schedule it for 7:30, and then when I scheduled it, I told the YouTube studio live, I told it I want to schedule it for 7:30, and then nothing seemed to really happen, and I was like, am I supposed to hit go live, and then it's going to actually kick in at 7:30? So I hit go live, and then it started, and I was like, oh no! So I am sorry about that. Yeah, these guys are kind of cool. They kind of combine. I say kind of because it's extremely parts formery. And I don't have the last guy yet, so I won't get too in-depth in these guys because I feel like I'll just be discussing them all over again anyway. But it's got kind of a cool face. Hello. Can you focus on this? I don't know, I give up. But I don't know. I know next to nothing about the IDW storyline, but I just know these guys are some sort of Decepticon fanatics. And I guess this guy likes Decepticons so darn much he put the Decepticon logo on his face. But it does remove, and he does have a little face underneath. I wish the resolution was better. Should figure out how to stream in 4K. And then this thing will never go back on his face ever again. Oh my god. I give up. Not going to do it on camera. I'm going to figure it out where I can see it better. There we go. Turn. It's interesting, though, because when you buy the two little guys, these guys don't turn into arms or anything. This guy turns into an electric chair, some of you might know. But it also turns into kind of a gun. Almost like a Predaking kind of gun. And then this guy actually turns into a gun. So these are just guns for the combined mode. This guy doesn't contribute much to the combined mode because he just basically curls up into a box, a cube. These two guys come with this, what they call the statue, but it's just a bunch of combiner parts kind of pegged together. Like this combines with him to form the big gun, and these are the feet. This guy kind of turns into the extremities of the big combined mode. And then the final guy is going to turn into kind of the torso. But these guys also came with replacement parts for Tarn. Because I guess Tarn's, these little pegs, this swing arm was just way too thin. And I was nervous about it, but they improved it a little bit. It's not quite as thin as it was, but it's still pretty delicate. You'd be advised to be careful with that. But he was wondering about scale. My friend from France. So there's like a basic class from back in the day. Here's a fairly recent. This is a remold of Hound from Siege. So that's kind of your scaling. It's kind of deceptive with this guy in the back, but he's actually bigger than a modern Siege Deluxe. So he's a pretty big figure. But he's supposed to be pretty big compared to the other ones anyway. So I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I just don't read comics much. I'm not against them. If I was going to read a Transformer comic, I would definitely look up this particular storyline because I understand it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, kind of. Mostly someone had asked me about the scaling of these guys, and I just wanted to show them. I'm not going to get into depth because I may as well save that for like a final video that has like all of them. I've thought about stop motioning them. They're all pretty firm, but stop motioning. I stop motion that Megatron last weekend, and it was a little challenging, but it's kind of nice because figures at this scale don't have ratchet joints, which is good. So if you're going to bend something, you can bend it in extremely small increments and not run into trouble. The problem is at this scale, you have to bend it in extremely small increments. But it doesn't come across on camera, but like this gold is really nice. It's got like particles in it. I don't know how well it comes across at all, really. But that's them. That's the Heroes of the DEC, which is Iron Factory's renaming of the DJD. Decepticon Justice Division. I hope I got that right. I'll move these out of the way. Someone else brought up a point somewhere on a forum somewhere. Someone was like, how's this hot shot? You know, he's supposed to be a car. Of course, this is a remold of Hound. But I recognized him right away because back in the day, and I still do, but I collected and I have all of the Cybertron figures. So here's the Deluxe. Has really gone a long way. This used to be a Deluxe. This used to be $10 in the US. And now you pay $20 for that. It doesn't seem right. The articulation on these aren't as good though. Like there's no mid-thigh swivel or anything. They really thought things out with these. I mean, at least they're posable. They're much more posable than the old figures were. But the old figures were very solid. There's no hollows. You know, they're a higher quality construction, if not very good. But you might be thinking, this guy is a car. Isn't that exactly that poster's point? But later on in the Cybertron line, there was an upgraded version of him that turned into an armored assault vehicle, which I think is what they're paying homage to with that guy. Let's check our messages. Yeah, I will be combining him later on. Yeah, sorry, KO. $30 Canadian apparently for this guy. But that's just exchange rates. And maybe there's like a loss of economy of scale for a smaller market like Canada. Because where there's like 12 people in Canada, right? Something like that. Well, now everyone's interacting. Isn't that lovely? I think everyone knows how this transforms. I'm just going to set him aside. I thought this might be interesting. This guy's really cool. He comes with a knife, and it's got a little storage spot on the leg. How's it go? This way. So it stores between his legs in robot mode. These are flip-around missile pods, which is nice. It's kind of cool. A lot of nice features in these older figures. They weren't very well articulated. If anyone's curious, I am planning on wandering by the TF Con in Reston, Virginia on Saturday. I got myself a t-shirt that says Peerless Drew. So you'll be able to tell who I am because I'll be wearing a t-shirt with my name on it. Like an idiot. But I don't know if anyone on my live stream is going to TFCon in DC. Seems like a bit of a stretch. For all I know, all of you people are from Canada. For all I know. Let's see. I feel like the head needs to go somewhere. There we go. Yeah, because there's a little cavity in there for his head to fit into, but only when it's in the upward position. Oh, and this has like flip down like missile pods on his shoulders too. He is full of missiles, let's just say. Let's see here. This flips up. These flip down maybe? Yeah. And then you collapse the legs. And it's a perfectly serviceable little armored personnel carrier. With guns. Festooned with guns. So many guns. I think this is like a little place his knife can go when he's in robot mode. It doesn't do anything, it just sits there. But that was the idea. He was a little APC. You can kind of put that wherever you want it. And of course it had the feature, the Cybertron key. And what do we have here? But more missiles! So he's got a lot of missiles. If you need some missiles, this guy's got you covered. And since this fellow is here, we may as well transform him. If I can remember how. He's so complicated. It's gonna take me forever to figure this out. I'm amazed how long these springs last. I always wonder when the springs are gonna finally corrode and break. But in this case, his springs are still going strong. I feel like I've done that too soon. Let's do that. But back in the day, nice big cars, heavy figure, not hollow. I seem to have lost his cyber key, but this is what happens. Wings pop out. They liked having spring-loaded gimmicks back in the day. I never really much cared for them. Just always interfered with the transformation to have some sort of spring-loaded gimmick. This just fell apart. That's fun. These are like guns that pop out. Oh, more missiles. More missiles. I forgot how many of the missiles this guy has. He's full of missiles. And we're here, so I'll transform this while I'm looking. How many are watching? Currently we have all of 7 concurrent viewers, so the odds of any of them knowing that I'm going to be wandering around TFCon. Mostly, I'll just be looking for something to do, something to shoot. I mean, it's going to be a big showroom full of MP class figures. It's hard not to go there and take a look. Because what I have scheduled for this weekend so far is the 2 deluxe figures from Studio Series, the crane and the, I don't know, front, the hoe, the digger, that form the arm of Devastator, and boy am I not excited about those. Those are not very complicated figures. They're not very interesting. But it's like I wanted to do all the Studio Series figures, and, you know, now what do I do? Like, not do the Studio? Not do all the Devastator figures? I mean, even Long Haul, or even the Bulldozer that I already did, just not terribly interesting. I mean, I don't suppose I have to do it. I could just not do it. That would be interesting. This guy always has like a... It's always a little tricky with this design to fold it up. There's actually kind of a clearance issue with it. Because you have to get this under there. You have to just kind of shove it out of the way. So this would not be a very clean transformation in my book. It's just a cheaper figure, so if you got to shove a couple of things out of the way, I guess that's not the end of the world. You could kind of do it. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. These actually do peg. And there you go. It turns into a Jeep, kind of. There we go. Delightful. So people that complain are half right. He was a car, but he was also an armored vehicle, which is in line with the new Siege version of him. Scrap metal. Yes, thank you. I'm thinking of scrap metal. And the other guy, Hightower. Hightower and scrap metal. And I've been playing with them this week. And, you know, trying to figure out how I'm going to present them. And they're not very complicated. Nobody's wondering how those work. Unless, I guess, you know, they don't own them or something. But even so, it doesn't make for a very alluring video. And I was thinking about it because they're deluxes. I'll just do them both. But then they're both kind of triple changers. So I have to turn Hightower from the crane into a robot, such as it is, because it's a really weird robot. But then you almost have to turn it all the way back into a crane to put it in its combined mode, because the combined mode is basically just the crane slightly. So it's like I have to transform it into a robot and then back into a crane. So I thought about filming it in combined mode, transforming it into a vehicle, which is easy, just a few steps, and then turn it into a robot, and then just change the order of presentation. Present it sort of like line up the vehicle mode in between so that later on I could just switch the pieces around, almost like I do with most triple changers. But I just don't want to get carried away and do like the full triple changer treatment that I do to them, because I didn't do it to the bulldozer, whatever his name is, the bouncy bulldozer. I didn't do it with him, so why bother doing it with the other guys? Unlike, like the MMC Vortex, that was 3 distinct modes, so it deserved to have the full treatment. So like I was saying, Shark, I don't know what the next figure is going to be for sure. I've kind of, like I said, I lined up the 2 deluxes, the deluxe Constructicons from Studio Series, because I have them. I also need to do Long Haul. Also not a terribly complicated figure, but I kind of wanted to do all the Constructicons at least. But if I find something cooler at TFCon in DC, then, you know, maybe I'll be doing that. So it's a bit of a mystery. What am I going to be doing on Sunday? Maybe something completely unexpected. Rampage, yes, KO. I knew I could rely on you to come up with all the names I can't remember. But yeah, I did the Rampage video, and that wasn't complicated. He had that weird thing with the arms, which was maybe illuminating for some people, but the instructions, as usual, were just terrible. These DJD guys are kind of, or DEC guys are kind of cool. They all come with a fairly extensive set of hands. It's like here's the hands for I don't know who these are the hands for somebody. They kind of look like Kaon's hands, but I don't know. And there was like a little set. These are Kaon's hands. Yeah, so those are Kaon's hands. And these are Tarn's hands. Nice little assortment of different postures. And these are the little guy's hands, the gun. Alright, it's going to bug me, so I'm just going to look it up. What's his name? What is his name? Decepticon Justice, and his name is Tessaurus? No, Tessaurus is the big guy. So it's not Tarn, it's not Helix, it's not Kaon. It's not the pet. Is it Voss? Yes. So these are Voss's hands. And what? An alternate head. For some reason. And then that's it. So I guess these black hands are... Oh, nobody's hands. That's weird. Why would I have this set of hands? They look exactly like the other Iron Factory hands. Huh. Tarn, Kaon, Voss. Oh, that's right. This guy has like weird little arms, almost like a Gaiji's, like an Appleseed hard suit. So those are the extra hands for Helix, whatever Iron Factory deigned to call them. Yeah, KO came up with it. Voss. Yeah, I was thinking about doing I mean, maybe I should start shooting the DJD because they're pretty clever figures. And means I can get my discount for the last big guy if I get him through my the inimitable Show Z store. But only if I do a video. Alright. Rearrange these guys. Since I'm sitting here, I'll put these guys back in robot mode. So they can go back on the shelf where they can make sure that they accumulate dust. Yeah, I feel like Studio Series like started off being really premium, like really nice designs. Some of the higher end designers seem to be involved. A lot of those early Studio Series figures are pretty clever. And I feel like they're kind of glutting it now. Too much. I guess the line did well, so they're like, woo! I guess that bodes well for the final Leader class and Voyager class figures coming out for the Devastator, but still, I feel like the line's getting a little heavy. Too many releases. Yep. That's how I had him. Now he's ready for the shelf. Back to the shelf with you, sir. You can't even do a proper A stance. They didn't do the articulation on those very well at all. Yeah, I could do them all at once. I don't know that I'd enjoy that 6-hour photo shoot. I tend to like to produce one video a week. I guess I have a short attention span when it comes to that kind of thing. I probably have fancier videos or something if I had a multi-week shoot, or I don't know. Oh, I see. Yeah. He was talking about Devastator doing all the videos. It's just a lot, because if I do like one for each piece, combining the two deluxes into one video, then later on all I got to do is combine them. And then I can do like a supercut where I show them all transforming from like vehicle mode to... I don't know. I didn't plan ahead for that really, so there would just be one final video where they assemble. But I see your point. Right now there's kind of a shortage of interesting things. I am getting that World War II Bumblebee from Toy World sometime in the next week or two, so There'll be a video on that. And I might be getting like the Toy World Starscream and the tank guy, whatever his name was, the World War I tank. But I'm not sure about that. But I'm definitely getting the Bumblebee. The Siege figures peg together nice, and they gave them all ankle rockers, which is very, very nice of them. So too many figures don't have proper ankle rockers. At least you can put these guys in a good A stance. Much more dynamic poses than, like, you know, this guy just kind of stands there. He doesn't. There's not much you can do with him. They gave him some joints, but not enough. Bulldog. Oh, you got that one for your dad? That's cool. Yeah, I didn't get Green Hornet. I think I got the gray one because I thought it looked more like a genuine, or maybe they just call it Green Hornet. Maybe I'm just wrong about that. I suppose that's possible. Let's take a look. There we go. Doesn't really capture the whole window, does it? Let's see. Try to get this down to fitting in the window. These guys have a good promotion going on. They wanted me to mention, and I will mention it now for what it's worth. Let me make sure I have this straight in my head, because it was kind of complicated. So they're having a sale, Shozy, on the 11th of November. Now, normally, if you're just a regular consumer, normally you get basically 1% off. You get points. So if you spend $100, you get 100 points, and each point's worth like a penny. So, you know, you get $1 off $100. That's a 1%. You can sign up for $10 a year. You can be a premium member, and your regular points are 3% off. So you get 3 times as many points than a regular member. And then the sale on the 11th, if you spend at least $100, you'll get 3 points even as a regular member, if I'm not mistaken. And you'll get, what is it? No, you'll get 2 points. You get 2 points for spending $100. I better just look it up. I'm losing my mind. Sent. No, not that folder. I'm trying to do it. All right. So if you spend up to $99, you get the one, as a regular customer, you get 1x points as usual. But 100 to 199, you get 2x points. Starting at $200, you get 3x points. $300, you get 4x points, and $500 and up, you get 5x points, which means if you spend $500, you're going to get 500 points, but you'll get 2,500 points, which is like $25 off, I think. And then premium members on the sale on the 11th are going to get 7x on anything. you would get, for spending $100, you would get $7 on $100. But having the premium membership, it can save you a bit of money. Even though it's $10, if you expect to spend more than $333 on figures, then you're going to come out even at that point. These guys do pretty good. They ship from China, but the shipping comes pretty quick, given customs is always a pain in the ass. This is the one that I'm going to be getting. I wanted to shoot this. I'm on the wrong page. The gray one. So I'll be doing a video of that. It's interesting. Apparently that's about the same size as like a Studio Series Deluxe. So it's not like a masterpiece scale. It's a little smaller. And then hopefully I might get a Bulldog, and I inquired about the Starscream, but we'll have to see. But Toy World's kind of interesting. I know they originally did the Devastator. I never got that one. And let's see. I'm afraid I probably bored everyone to tears already now. Everyone stop talking. Did the stream break? It's weird. Am I just talking to myself? Oh, the World War I Starscream. It's a cool idea to have a Sopwith Camel or a biplane turn into a robot. They had that one that was from this line, same line, that turned into a biplane. That was kind of cool. Someone's gonna throw that name at me too. You guys are better at that than I am. Nope. Okay. News. I can't remember what he was. Movie lines? I don't know where to find it though. It was. I remember it was a basic class. A lot of those basic class figures from that one movie line were pretty cool. Maybe it was movie 2. Did that have all the basic class figures? Oh. Yeah. Well, there's the Beachcomber guy. But I don't remember the name of the one guy. I know he turned into a biplane, which was cool. But I don't think I have him out. I'd have to dig him out of a box to find him. Here's like the red version of him. This guy. And he turned into a biplane. So if you're into that kind of thing, great. Yeah, that's a good picture. Thanks. But if you're in that kind of thing, it totally turns into a biplane. It's a neat little robot. A lot of the robots from that line were kind of cool. That movie line. That's more like the Red Baron version of them. There was the other uses of the mold. Ransack. This is the traditional one. He turns into a biplane, which is cool. You don't see that every day. It's the instructions. Thank you, TFW. Yeah, it's a triplane. Fair enough. You can't have too many wings, can you? You just can't. Try to have those guys up so that can be my thumbnail. If it's on the screen enough, it will be. Yeah, it was kind of flimsy. It was just a little basic class figure. I don't know. Today, basic class is almost deluxe class, but a lot of those figures were kind of cool. They had one that turned into a boat, like a Navy ship. That was a pretty cool figure. For some reason, the live preview for my live stream is not running anymore, but I trust you're still seeing. You see this? How many fingers am I holding up? There we go. And in the comments, in 5 minutes, someone's going to say, yeah, like on my screen, the live thing is just not running at all. Yeah, well, I guess as long as you guys still see something, that's good. I don't have much else to report. We'll have another live stream next Wednesday. The Sunday figure is ostensibly going to be the 2 deluxes from Studio Series Constructicons, but I might find something at the show that's more interesting. Do that. Whenever I get the last piece of the DJD, I might do a little more exhaustive review of them, or maybe do videos. They're really nicely painted. They'd come across really nicely if I did pictures of them. Just be a real pain to transform them. They're tiny. This guy's got this annoying design for his head storage, because you can put it away like that. But you can't lower this back panel any further than that, so you got to use like a tool to fish out his head, which is not ideal for transforming toy. I don't want to have to get tools out to transform it. Oh yes, Shark asks if I'm going to be doing a stop motion of Unique Toys TLK Megatron. I'm all in for Unique Toys, so whatever they want to make, I'm probably going to get it. That TLK Megatron looks really sweet. It looks like they really hide the pieces away for him really nicely, which is going to be really cool. But he's been delayed, so who can say when he's coming out? I just want to say for the powers that be that if G Creation could just actually do that Megatron they teased, the IDW Megatron, that would be super awesome. But I fear that G Creation is kind of dead. Good designer they had, at least at that point. Yes, it's called Dragoon. And I probably would have wondered, Shark, because I'm not very good at remembering the names of those things. But yeah, they called him something else initially. They called him Mega. Mega was his name months and months ago. But then they changed his name to Dragoon. Well, folks, I kind of run out of things to talk about. I did my size comparison for my French friend. And anyone else who's interested in the size comparison for the DEC. And I think I will pause for a moment to see if there's any final statements or questions. And then I will be signing off like in the next couple of minutes. So. This really is a unique figure because it turns into an electric chair. You don't get many Transformers that turn into little electric chairs, but this guy does. I don't know. I think I'm supposed to turn this around. Articulated hip skirts for when they didn't really have to do that. That's pretty cool of them. Yeah, I don't think I turn the hips around. I think it just does that. I don't know. I haven't done this guy in a while. I said I was going to do him, but then I got all fidgety and decided to do it anyway. Besides, I just wanted to prove for anyone that was skeptical of such a thing that he really does turn into a freaking electric chair. Because I guess since they were like the Inquisition, they had to... The arms just kind of go like that, if I remember correctly. Something like that. But he turns into old Sparky. And if you have any other Legends class figures that are small enough, they can go into the chair. But he turns into like a forced electric chair, a torture chair. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Turns into an electric chair. What do you know? No, it's just a fellow that I met that's on my Discord that I was talking to the other day. And he said, "How big are those things?" And I was like, "Well, I'll do it on my next live stream, even though, you know, right now it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there." So he's not watching it with us. But I said he can watch it later and he can see the comparison. And so perhaps he shall. It's nobody famous, I don't think. No. That doesn't look right. That looks right. Okay. Yep. Oh, and here we get to that, the biggest problem with this guy is trying to get his stupid head out of his head. He's some variety of a shell former, the way his parts are just kind of piled up. Old Sparky. I don't know. Something. And then there's the head. The problem is you can kind of pull on his chin, but you run the risk of taking his little removable face off, which is annoying. From THC. I don't know THC. The Hardcore Collectors? I don't think so. Must be some other THC. There we go. He made it back. If I'm going to store them, I'm going to store them in robot mode. So put them back in robot mode. Yeah, the other Constructicons will be cool. Because there's the leader class that's part of the torso, another leader class that's like the thighs and the hips. There's the other Voyager class that's the right arm, and the of course we've seen Mixmaster who turns into the head. Toy World's Last Night Optimus Prime. I wonder what they're doing. Now you got me curious. Oh. So supposedly Toy World's going to be doing that. I don't know. It looks like it might have a little better posability. My one complaint about Unique Toys is it was super clever, like a magic trick, but the posability wasn't great on it. The ankles in particular weren't very. They didn't have rockers or anything. Yeah, the robot mode does look good. I wonder how it transforms. I guess I'll find out maybe. Looks like we lost connection for a minute there. Yeah, Toy World seems to be going all in on movie figures, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. Oh, it would be nice to have a real. I mean, I think Takara or Hasbro needs to get off their ass and do a MPM of that Bumblebee Optimus because there's demand for that. People want it. And I'd love to see what the Takara / Hasbro engineers did with that. Oh, really? Sentinel, huh? Is there an actual picture of Sentinel Prime, or is that just named so far? So they named him. They called him Fire Commander. The leader class figure was really quite good. I did a video back in the day of that. It'd be interesting to see what someone like Toy World, a decent quality third party company, does with the transformation for that. Fun fact for those that don't know it, he was voiced by Leonard Nimoy of Star Trek fame, Spock. And part of the reason he got tapped for that is because he was the voice of Galvatron in the 1986 Transformers movie. Yes, I believe so. It was one of his last roles was doing the voice work for that for Sentinel Prime. He'd also been on the TV show Fringe a bit, playing Walter Bell, or no, not Walter, but John Bell, something Bell. Um, but yeah, he was getting pretty old and decrepit there at the end. Of course, he was in the Star Trek movie, the time travel Star Trek, the reboot. But yeah, that might have been one of his last things. I suppose we could always IMDb it, and then we'd know. Nimoy is such a strange last name. I spelled it wrong. Good for me. How come I can't click it? It's annoying. Huh. Okay. Alright. I can click it. Final roll. Drum roll. He was in a Family Guy video game as Spock, but that might have just been a reuse of the voice. He played Spock Prime into Star Trek Into Darkness. He was, of course, on. He was Dr. William Bell on the Fringe TV show. Dark of the Moon, 2011. So, I mean, it wasn't his last role, because he did stuff since 2011. But it was one of his last roles. One of his last dozen, if you will. Sorry, Shark. I was just spelling it phonetically. Fortunately, I'm not running a Star Trek live stream, or otherwise I'd have offended half my audience with my horrible misspelling of Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, R.I.P. Nimoy. He was a good guy. Cool dude. I didn't watch Beast Wars much, Brickmaster Medrano, but from what I understand of it, I should like Dinobot the best because he had the most sort of interesting character development. But I didn't actually watch that show. It was a point in my life where I wasn't collecting Transformers, wasn't thinking about Transformers, and I wasn't into that show. So I don't know hardly anything about it. In fact, my cousin helped me figure out that scene that I recreated with rotoscoping in the Dinobot video that I did, because I didn't know nothing about it. Yeah, Dinobot's the favorite of most people, from what I understand. So I suspect if I watched the show, I would be like, Dinobot's the best. He was apparently the most complex character. All right, folks, I'm going to be signing off. I appreciate everyone dropping by and checking out my live stream. And everyone have a good evening. Have a transformative evening. I don't know. I don't have a good sign off. But no, I don't know. Oh, the Apex Armor Prime? No, I guess not. I don't think I do. I don't think I know about that. But maybe you can leave a comment or a link commenting on the video after the live stream is posted. But I appreciate everyone dropping by, and I'm gonna sign off. Have a good night.